What's going on, YouTube? It's time for recap. So this morning we had a really nice call here. We had a really beautiful base call. We actually called the almost absolute bottom here of the market on the rally day, and we'll go over why from my chat. So just about, let's try to get this drawing tool out of the way here. 15th times charm. There we go. And we had a nice little 5K pop here, right? We called it at about 6:07 a.m. I said I was getting in at 59, 1775, and then I had some dip orders out there to purchase more. Target out was around 59.35, and kind of went back and forth, got real close to that, and then of course took off to the long side as we assumed for confirmation. So let's talk about that as well today. If you want to see exactly how I set this stuff up, I did post a video today. The post is right here on X. So if you come to X right here, click that link. That's the prediction video on exactly what you do, or what you get rather, not what you do, in my premium live stream for my company. So if you guys want to watch that video, this is exactly what I stream every morning for my crew over on our website. So it's always the first link in the description here. If you want to win a free month and come trade with us for absolutely no cost, give it a share. There's only one person, and it says right here, want to join us for a free live? Share the post. I'll draw a name tomorrow. So if you watch that video and you share this X post, there's only one person, and I'm going to look at it tomorrow and pick out of anybody who shared this post to show people exactly what I do in the mornings there. Well, give it a share. We'll get you on. We're going to move into this last call as well today. I said, you already know we called it. So I put a big old red sentiment. We have T1, T3 short. And for my crew, I told everybody to come up to the golden pocket today for that last long. And then as you see this big red sentiment right here, we are short under yesterday's GP down to the weekly GP, which we've already been talking about twice on this channel. Let's check it out. How'd we do? Well, here we go. So we talked a lot about the weekly in the teal, right? High low. So last week's high in the teal, last week's low in the teal gives us this golden pocket in the teal. And we have no tag because it is come up to Wednesday, right? So 3 days worth of chop here. So if you back out on a 5-day, 5-minute, we've had 1, 2, 3 days of not tagging the golden pocket in the teal here, which is the weekly. So if we stay under the weekly, like we discussed, this is a retracement to the GP, and this is why I was so short biased the last few videos. As we've been discussing, you can check any of the last 3 videos we put out. I was short biased and no long biased at all. So as we get into the day, we had this opportunity to retrace. So we called the long right here. Notice where the pre-market bounced, our weekly Fibby, right? And we had that beautiful long move up, and then we had a 3 down, okay? 3 downs are positionals that the market likes to do just in terms of pattern. So if we're looking at trend right here, we had the big straight line up, right? Then we had 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. And then I said, guys, it's all long out of the open above 38.20. Just go long to yesterday's lows T1, and then we're going to come up to that golden pocket most likely. So we called the long out of the gate, as well as this long, as well as this short. We needed to say no gap fill, and then as long as we maintained above VWAP. Now, the last call for my crew today, I told everybody when I drew that short sentiment, they said, unless it starts to trend right away in the morning under yesterday's lows, go for the short, 100% great. If not, we still have upside on the SPY because we have yesterday's high low daily as a gold GP and a 1-minute fill. So if you didn't see it yesterday, there was a 1-minute gap left open yesterday on the SPY, right? 591.08. There's also many gaps on ES. If you check my prediction video, I'll put that link in the description if you want, on how I predicted all these longs out of the gate today, and then the short I'm covering right now. So as we came up to fill that gap from yesterday and yesterday's high-low golden pocket, so gold fibs right here, 0 to 100, that is just yesterday's high and yesterday's low. In the middle of that is the golden pocket. So I said we'd probably go long in right when it popped back over the long, or yesterday's lows rather, right around 10 when we were getting off. I said, yep, there it is. Just go long. I said I gave you guys the targets on ES, and I told everybody where she was going above yesterday's lows, and I said 59, 54, 63. That was what I told my crew. Let's see how we did. This is what I told you guys the long target was, 59, 43, 63. Not too bad. So Algos are going to algo, baby. We had a perfect day today. We didn't miss a single call down to the penny pretty much, except for the, well, not even, because we didn't have any trend confirmation under yesterday's low. So I told you guys that would be it. Now, I did the math in between, obviously, for that call, and we also had some algo gaps there that I cover again in the last video. So I said it's going to come up above yesterday's lows, push into the golden pocket, and as you've seen on the sentiment on X, anything under the 50, it is dumpy. And that's what I said on X. And I said, you heard it here first. I called it, and I posted it again way before it happened. And we knew she was going to dump today into that GP art list. Well, at least we had a statistical advantage. So if you were short on that day, or on that level of the GP, this is yesterday's high low, that golden pocket launched us to the downside. Now, of course, we always look for extensions when that happens, right? So inside the fib, because the price action here came inside yesterday's lows, boom, 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 hit yesterday's lows, popped up at the GP. That was the ending long. So the golden pocket became resistance, as we said. And after it snapped down, here's yesterday's lows again, right? But that was the under over for us, where if we see price action start to form above or below that, we're going to follow that accordingly. And obviously we had all long pegged out this morning perfectly. And then the short, we had a beautiful snap. Well, where do we go from there? Well, we have two really big targets. One being the weekly no tag, which we already discussed, these two right here, target 2 and target 3 for our crew. So you would have had a beautiful from the 50 break down to there, 60 points on ES, absolute monster, which we had called. We also called the VIX coming up to daily gap 2045 for my crew this morning in the Discord. Now, we had a perfect day today. These do not happen all the time, so please don't be like, oh my God, Brandon just calls the market to the T every day. I'm going to join and get free plays. Don't do that. Don't join me at all. Please stay out of my group. We're not an alert service. I guarantee you I will not spoon feed you trades for a measly $100 a month. It's not how it works. I will teach you how to trade this stuff, though. So anything above 18 yesterday's close, we looked for 2045. So as long as the VIX grabs support, we were going to grab a breakout over the 100 EMA is what I told my crew. Here's the green 100 EMA with the 200. And I said, guys, as long as we break out of that, we're cooking to 2045. There's your 2045. And that helped us with that huge short sentiment, okay? So all of our targets clicked in long, and then all of our targets clicked in short. And again, does not happen all the time. It is not, we had an absolute perfect no miss today to every level, every penny. Very rare, okay? So as the GP rejection was, we broke out of yesterday's lows. Where do we go? Extensions. So often when we break out of a Fibonacci zone, we go right to the 1618 and right to, you guessed it, 2618 Fibby. Bam, bam. And that was the bottom of the day, bounced. So now we have a full weekly golden pocket tag and daily pocket with extension play. What's next? Well, if you watched my other prediction videos, you already know. I said we're going to come down to the no tag of the GP, right? So on SPY here, we said for sure, going to come dead down after that GP. We're going to come chase down the gap. And we said we'll come down to that 10 SMA, most likely panic through it. Why? Well, we have not had a loop. What is a loop? Well, if you check my indicators we use section, I teach you how to use moving average loops. When the price action back here, can you see that? Barely. It's okay. There we go. When the price action here popped over the 10 SMA, that's in the blue here, that's a daily 10, snapped up and then just kind of rode, hit the 100 EMA, boop, dapped to the 10, up, and the next time it comes to the 10, because we already had tagged it once, we expect a loop. A loop is when price action breaks through a moving average and then has a potential to come back up to continue the downtrend. Remember that. Play that about 8 more times, what I just said, because that's what's going to happen. That's what we're hoping anyway. You know, we like to talk shit, but we're going to see it there. Now, coming down to the gap on the weekly. So again, if you already watched this prediction video, you already know where I called where it's going. So as long as we're outside and under the weekly range of last week, which means this is last week's candle in the green. If we are under the weekly GP, which we had discussed this whole video, so under 585.79 and down, I will see you down at that gap. So we will be ending up this gap fill here. Hope maybe jobs will get us some speed down there. Maybe we get a temporary bounce for a little bit in the morning or after hours. And continuing that trend, I'll see you at the gap fill. Again, already went over that from last week's predictions. QQQ as well, just a note here, huge weekly gap, but we do have some daily importance as well. And if you again watch that video, we said the QQQ was coming down to this GP. So we used 513 in our last video, and I said, I'll see you guys at the GP. And look at that. 1618 Fibonacci rules. And this is what I said. This is the interesting part. Go back and watch the video. I said on the QQQ here, the rule is if we have a fib and it goes, pushes out, and it shies the 1618, right? But it still holds over the 100, it's going to come to the 1618, like it did today, and then go hunting for the golden pocket. So funny enough, if you go back into that intraday, oh, it's weird. Weird. 523 top to the penny, which 522.91, I guess, within a few cents there. Now, we actually covered that prediction as well in the last 3 videos. So if you got about a half hour time and go through the last couple prediction videos, I run down exactly what I'm talking about on these fibs. And this is why I use fibs. This is why we are called the master of all fibs and algos here, baby. So the gap is what's next for the QQQ. Now, again, 10 SMA stopped us, which we expected. We were going to come down to 5.3's golden pocket. And in the video, I said 10 SMA with that. Boom, we nailed both of them from a couple of days ago. Now, what's next? Well, as long as, again, we are underneath this daily GP, we'll be heading down to the big gaps. We have one small gap to remember right here, just under 508.50. It's right here between 512 and 513, right? Stretch it out, see that gap. That's most likely anything under the 50 of 513. We'll be heading down there, and we might get a little temporary bounce there. We could get a catalyst that just washes us, so don't think that's not possible, but usually, we can get a couple days like this, and as we head down to those gaps that we had called, we're good to go. So one more look at the futures. If you missed the last couple of videos, I did predict one other thing for you guys, and I told you guys we'd be coming down to a very specific level, and I was a jerk, and I said I'm not going to tell you exactly why, but I'll tell you the level, right? Because I have secrets. We got to have secrets. So we went to the 10-day, 5-minute, because I can't give you all my systems. Then everybody just steals them and pretends like they did it. Or the algos get adjusted in the market. That's a big pain in my butt. So as we come down to a 10-day here, we did have, where the heck is this thing? I don't have it on this chart, and I don't want to redo it. No, that's the big one. Was it on SPY? It was on the Q. Maybe it was on ES, and I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's go. Okay, one check here. Maybe it was. Oh, it is ES. There's the big one right there, right? Or is that the overhead daily? No, that's the overhead daily one. One sec. We'll find her. That's what happens. You don't have clean charts, man. Clean up your charts, guys. I'm just kidding. It's because we always cycle through these so fast. But yeah, our last one. Well, I'll just hunt for it then. Bear with me. I know I'm the most pro YouTuber here with the cleanest edits and the best everything. There it is. All right, there we're going. Double fib gap. So on this huge pullback, I'm still calling this, and I just wanted to reiterate right here, I will see you guys down at 5.456, 5.447.97. Or 5. I know that's a bold prediction, but we will be getting into this GP. So now I'll give you guys the sauce here. Anything, even a pop, right? Even if it comes back a little bit here, we're going to see relevant movement to the downside under 5.880, okay? And as we come into that, the GP is next, down at 50. Jesus, mouse. Down at 5,800. After 5,800 collapses throughout the weeks, we're going to get a temporary loop bounce, but inevitably, I will see you down here. Mark this post. We are coming down to 55 sub. Okay, so we have another, and this is in the coming weeks, not tomorrow, you mother truckers. Pay attention. 7% correction coming, not correction, pullback, as we move into some of this stuff on the longer time frames. Okay, so we also have a gap down there. If you didn't see that massive one on the daily, that is partially why we're going to come back down here as well. And I think we will just tumble down here, and it's going to be super fun. So stay on the shorts. Pay attention to my predictions because we are hot right now and we are killing. So if you want to do this live with me and follow my streams, like the link in the description, first one, come trade. And that website's right there. We stream live every morning, 8 a.m. And we got a big Discord of talented people, 20-year option professionals, hundreds of members. We're awesome. So if you want to do that, great. If you want to win some cold hard cash every weekend, I just give away cash to the subscribers. All you got to do is subscribe, like, drop one comment, gets you entered into the random comment picker. That's all you got to do. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in.